All men should watch this video. If you say this, no woman will resist. Stoicism. Best proof of love is trust. Joyce Brothers. What if I told you that a few carefully chosen words spoken honestly and with purpose could leave a woman thinking about you long after the conversation ends? I'm not talking about pickup lines or tricks. I'm talking about something far more powerful, understanding. The one thing most men miss. It's not the words themselves that matter, most how you make her feel. Women might forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel when you speak with calm confidence and clarity, choosing your words thoughtfully. You create moments that linger in her mind. Long after too many men try to impress women by bragging about achievements, talking endlessly, or pushing a tough person. But the real power lies in knowing when to say less, how to say more, and how to speak directly to a woman's heart. A man who speaks with depth, not for the sake of impressing, but with genuine intent, doesn't chase. Instead, he draws her in naturally. If you've ever found yourself wondering, why am I stuck in the friend zone here? Why do women lose interest even when I try so hard? Then you're in the right. Plessy today will dive into 10 simple phrases that carry psychological weight and reflect. The Stoic wisdom of masculine energy phrases that resonate, make her pause and leave her wanting more. But a word of caution, this will only work if you speak from a place of authenticity's ego. So sit back, clear your mind, and pay attention. Bez. Once you master these phrases, you'll never be forgotten. Phrase 1. You have a unique way about you. I like that. Simple, right? But here's the truth. It's one of the most powerful things you can say to a woman. Doesn't just make her smile, it makes her think about you long after you've walked away. You see, most men don't realize the secret behind this line. It's not about the words, it's about the way they land. While most men toss out compliments like, "You're beautiful," "You look amazing," or "You're so sexy," it's predictable and frankly tired. Those compliments are like background noise, easy to say and just as easy to forget. But when you say you have a unique way about you, it's different. You're not just complimenting her appearance. You're acknowledging something deeper, something she can't even name her. Rhythm, her energy, the subtle things that make her who she is. Stats. What sticks with her? Let me give you an example. Keith, a 54-year-old logistics manager, recently divorced after 22 years, was on a date with Evelyn, a 49-year-old photographer there. First date was calm coffee and a walk by the river. Evelyn was funny, relaxed, and didn't try to impress him, but Keith didn't rush into the usual compliments. He didn't boast about his accomplishments or flatter her with cliché remarks. Instead, on their second date, Evelyn mentioned how she hated online dating, stopped for a moment, looked at her and said, "You know, you have a unique way about you, I like that." That was it. No explanation, no nervous laughter, just a simple, sincere acknowledgement. Evelyn later told him that moment stuck with her nod because it was grand or flashy, but because it felt like he saw something in her no one else had noticed. That's the power of this. Late's not about boasting or showing off. It creates mystery and it signals that you're different. You're paying attention to the little things that matter. It's about what you don't say instead of focusing on impressing Haru. Shift the focus to what you see in her. What you just did is something called a cognitive loop. It's a psychological trick where you offer something incomplete and her mind keeps working to figure out what it meant. What did I mean by that? Did he notice the way I moved? Is the tone of my voice? It creates curiosity and emotional investment. She'll replay that moment over and over, subconsciously trying to understand The depth of what, you said, but here's the key. You have to mean it. Say it just for the sake of saying it. Pay attention to her essence. Look for the little things. Your choice of words, the calmness in her eyes, the way she moves with purpose. So are not just complimenting her performance. You're acknowledging her soul. This is where old Stoic wisdom can guide youth. Stoics believe that the most valuable things are often invisible to the eye when you train yourself to see beyond the surface. Sayu becomes someone who speaks, moves, and connects differently. You start to embody Stoic principles. Su. Don't get lost in the shallow compliments of the world. Instead, you see the iron mind beneath a calm strength that others missed. When you understand this, you reach a level of connection that most men will never experience. You move like someone who has mastered Stoicism, someone who sees what others can't feel, what others don't. That's what makes you stand out, and that's when you truly become unforgettable. Phrase 2. I like women who know what they want. This phrase does more than just catch attention. It's a quiet power play that flips the script. Why? Because most men are out there trying to prove they are good enough. They flaunt their jobs, their cars steer, fancy plans, their ambition. They walk into dates as if they're auditioning for a role, fire constantly, thinking, I hope she picks me. But here's the truth. A man who says, I like women who know what they want, isn't auditioning, is not scrambling to impress. Instead, he's observing. He's watching how she shows up to the world. He's not trying to prove anything. He's subtly and calmly flipping the table. She's saying, I'm not the one trying to win you over. You're the one who needs to show me if you're worth my time. That's the power of the statement. It communicates confidence. It communicates decisiveness. It says, I'm not chasing, I'm choosing. And in the world of dating, that's rare. So let's break it down. When you say, I like women who know what they want, not giving her a compliment. You're challenging her, but in the most smooth and calm way possibly, or asking, are you grounded in who you are? Can you lead your own life, or are you waiting to be Leo? You bring clarity into a relationship, or do you bring confusion? This challenge is powerful. It shifts the dynamic. Suddenly, she's the one wondering if she measures up to your standards, saying, trust me. For many women, especially those who are used to being chased and persuaded, this hits different. It creates curiosity, a sense of reflection. She's forced to ask herself, are I clear on what I want, or am I just going with the flow, floating without direction? H is the essence of true attraction. Let's look at an example. Jamisa, 5-year-old senior consultant, had been single for 4 years after a tough divorce tone day. He met Carmen, a 48-year-old woman he connected with at a work event, was confident, outgoing, and dressed well, but something felt a bit skittered. Went out for drinks, and during their conversation, Carmen started rambling about how confusing dating was these days, complained that men were either too aggressive or too passive, and she confessed she didn't really know what she wanted anymore. James didn't try to fix her. He didn't argue with her confusion. He didn't over-explain. Instead, simply looked at her, took a sip of his drink and said, I like women who know what they want. That was it. No lecture, no judgment, just a simple, direct statement. Carmen Page leaned in, intrigued, not offended. She realized something. What James had said wasn't an insult. It was a mirror. It made her reflect on herself. Am I clear, or am I just drifting along without a purpose? That is power, the powers of clarity. Because let's face it, most men, when faced with uncertainty, will do the opposite. They'll chase harder. They'll overcompensate. They'll try to prove their worth. It better grounded. Man doesn't react to uncertainty by chasing. He understands that uncertainty is unattractive. Equity, on the other hand, is magnetic. When you make it clear that you value purpose, direction, and intention in a partner, you automatically position yourself as someone who is selective, not desperate. You're not another guy hoping to win her over. Instead, she's left wondering if she even qualifies for youth concept ties. Perfectly into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism. A path of wisdom thought teaches us the importance of clarity and conviction in dating as in life. We Stoic rules are clear. If someone cannot clearly tell you what they value, cautious about what they may cost you. And let me tell you, this rings especially true when it comes to dating in your 40s, 50s or beyond. By this stage in life, you've built a solid foundation. You've made mistakes. You've learned what works and what doesn't. You know yourself and your value so. When you meet someone, it's no longer just about attraction. It's about alignment. If your values match Dew's, she'll know what kind of connection she wants. Or is she just exploring out of boredom or curious? Stoicism teaches us that you don't waste time chasing the uncertain. Time is to valuably relationship built on uncertainty will drain you, but one based on clarity, mutual respect, and shared values will nourish and enrich you. You must stand firm in your standards, your purpose, and the paths of wisdom that guide your life. Find dating and in life. Clarity is everything. Be the man who doesn't just attract but who chooses with purpose. Let your actions and words embody the Stoic rules of disciplined conviction. When you do this, you position yourself as someone who isn't just availably. Position yourself as someone who is worthy of the best and only the best. And trust may one you live by these principles, you'll never have to chase again. Phrase throw. Sha. That's what I like most about you. In a world where compliments are handed out carelessly and with little thought, there's one phrase that stands above the rest. That's what I like most about you. It doesn't just compliment, it connects. Most men toss out lines like you're beautiful or you're sweet, but those are shallow, fleeting remarks that miss the mark. When you use this phrase, you're not commenting on her looks. You're reflecting something deeper, something about who she truly is. It's powerful without being forceful, intimate without crossing boundaries. You are telling her you see her for who she really is, not just for how she appears. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies not in fleeting emotions or external appearance, but in recognizing and appreciating the deeper essence of people. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. No, this phrase encapsulates that wisdom, reacting with depth and presence rather than surface-level praise. Consider Greg, a 52-year-old contractor who, after years of being learned the value of truly listening on a dinner date with Vanessa, a nurse. Here's a story of her dedication to her patients during a snowstorm instead of offering a generic compliment. Greg pauses and says, "That's what I like most about you." He's not flattering her. He's recognizing her character quality that goes far beyond her looks or charm. That's what makes it stick. It resonates because it's real in today's world where many men try to impress with wealth or status through connection. Happens when you are fully present. When you see beyond the surface, thesis is how you win in life by mastering the art of recognition as epic. Titus would say, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Similarly, Dennis, a 59, after years of loss, recognizes this. Wisdom, when dating Claude's Nesh, talks about helping her daughter cope with a painful breakup, not with advice, but by simply listening. Nessa father himself sees the value in her calm approach. He tells her, "That's what I like most about you. Hold space." She's stunned. Not because it's a compliment, but because no man had ever truly noticed that quality, and her is how you truly connect. This is what makes you unforgettable. Remember men when you compliment. Be specific. Don't flatter, recognize. Stoicism teaches us to admire character, not waste admiration on fleeting beauty because it fades. Instead, see the real strength in resilience, sympathy, and consistency. If you want to win in life, in relationships, you must master this. I'll recognize what others misadmire. The depth of Stoics knew that the world is full of distractions. But it is the man who is focused, present, and wise who truly wins. The man who notices, who appreciates what others overlook. That's how you make an impact. You don't need tricks or empty compliments. You need to see beyond the surface. You need to be present. So next time you're with a woman who reveals something real about herself, look her in the eye and say, "That's what I like most about you." Then let the silence do the rest. That's the moment that wins phrase for "I don't know if you can handle me." When you say, "I don't know if you can handle me," you're not being cocky or arrogant, being calculated. And that's the key. This phrase isn't a threat. It's not designed to boast. Instead, it introduces uncertainty, the kind of uncertainty that hooks deeper than 1,000 compliments could ever do. It's not about showing off how safe, predictable, or easygoing you Aramani men fall into that trap trying to prove themselves. Reliable, low maintenance, and not too difficult to handle. But let's be honest. What does that get you? Maybe some respect, but certainly not the kind of attraction that leaves a lasting impression. Women aren't drawn to men. They can completely understand fear, drawn to men who exude mystery, not in a manipulative game-playing waybot in a grounded masculine and self-assured manner. A man who knows exactly who he is. Stats. What this line does, it's an invitation to wonder. It sparks curiosity about what lies beneath the surface. It's powerful. This isn't about being predictable. It's about demonstrating depth. It's about showing you've lived and experienced life full while maintaining that calm, cool, and collected demeanor. Take Martin, for example, 48. He's a level-headed corporate trainer with a past a divorce and no kids. He met Clara, confident, assertive, high-level marketing exec who's used to being in charge in their third date. She teased, "I usually intimidate guys like you without missing a beat." Martin looked her in the eye calmly, said, "I don't know if you can handle methane," went back to sipping his coffee. No smirk, no sarcasm, just steady, unwavering confidence. Clara. Ira froze for a second, then laughed. But this wasn't mockery, it was intrigue. Martin didn't try to win her over, didn't bend over backward to prove anything. He simply flipped the script in that moment. The dynamic shifted. Instead of her testing him, maybe, just maybe, he was testing her. And that shift is magnetic, especially for women who've seen enough men bend over, explain, and try to please. When you drop this line, you're signaling that you're not here to be ease a toe, be bent to their will. You're here to be real, to show you've been through the storms and come out stronger, carry edges. And in a world where many try to be agreeable and safe, that authenticity is irresistibly attractive, Lisses. It is especially true for women over 45 who have experienced enough to recognize true strength when it appears. You don't just get them, you make them earn their way in. That's the real appeal. That's the old Stoic wisdom in action, the iron mind that remains unshaken, the Stoic principles that guide you to be steady in your own self. Sure, insight's not ours, arrogance. It's simply knowing that real strength lies in being true to who you are not and trying to please. If you found this valuable, like, comment below and share it with someone who could benefit. Forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember I am grounded, confident, and intriguing. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Remember, it's about showing depth and real strength, not just trying to please. Phrase 5. I'm not that easy. Here's the hard truth. Most men don't even realize how quickly they give themselves away the moment a woman flirts or gives a smell-a-thing. Lean in emotionally, mentally, physically. They're all in. No hesitation, no questions asked. But what if instead of rushing in, you calmly and confidently, it's not that easy. You know what happens next? You reverse the energy. You introduce a challenge. You show that you have standards. You're not here just to be picked. You're here to choose. That shift, it changes everything. And that, my friend, is a Stoic rule in action. Before you get the wrong idea, this isn't about playing hard to get. It's about understanding your value. It's about becoming a man who isn't desperate for attention, a man who has options and isn't afraid to walk away when something doesn't align with who he is. This is practical Stoicism in real life maintaining. It's composure and sticking to your values. Take Howard, for example. 55. He's a financial planner with a solid career, no kids, and divorced 7 years ago. Met Simone, a 50-year-old yoga instructor, gorgeous, charming, and full of life. Be the third date. Simone began to flirt heavily, hinting she could probably wrap Howard around her finger. Howard smiled, leaned. Beckin calmly replied, "Maybe, but I'm not that easy." Thin. He took a sip of his drink and changed the subject. Oh no, smirk, just calm, certain tithe. Vibe shifted immediately. It wasn't about whether he liked her, it was about whether she could meet his standard shot. Howard did in that moment wasn't just about rejecting Simone's flirtation. It was about establishing emotional boundaries. Women are used to being chased, flattered, and constantly sought after. But when you say, "I'm not that easy," send a powerful message. It says, "I'm not impressed by beauty alone. I'm not here to chase. If you want access to my you'll need to show me something real. This isn't about playing games. It's about setting emotional boundaries, something rare, something valuable. You are a man who respects himself too much to give away your time, energy, or attention to someone who hasn't earned it." And trust me, that shows strength. No, let's talk about Franklin. He's 49, runs a home renovation companion. He's the kind of guy who's straight to the point. No fluff, no flash. He met Linda, 47A, high-energy real estate agent who loved attention and enjoyed testing. Franklin's reaction said, night after dinner, she leaned in and said, "You're trouble. I can tell." Franklin raised an eyebrow and replied, "You think I'm trouble? I'm not even sure you could keep up. And just so you know, not that easy if stood up, paid the bill, and told her he had an early morning." That was it. Was he rude? Absolutely not. He was clear, calm, and decisive. The result, Linda texted him first that night. That's the magic of Stoic wisdom. When you don't fold at the first sign of flirtation, you stand out. But here's the kicker. This line only works when you mean it. It has to come from a place of true self-respect. It's not about being defensive or sarcastic. It's not about punishing her for being attractive. It's about knowing your worth and letting her know can't just have you because she's cute or charming. You're a man of value, and that's what will make her take not assigned this. This is a direct application of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius said, "Let not your mind be captive to impressions. Don't be ruled by beauty, charm, or sweet words. Be grounded, be centered, selective. When you live by this, she feels it. Your calmness, your inner strength, your self-control. It becomes magnetic. Real men don't chase attention, attract it not by being desperate or needy, but by knowing exactly what they're worth. So next time a woman comes on strong or starts to test, you don't lean in too fast, Pause, smile and say, "I'm not that easy." Then let that silence do the work, Bekos. In that moment, you've already said more than any long-winded speech ever. Cold. Remember, the paths of wisdom lead to understanding your value must be discerning, grounded, and always aware of what's worth your time and energize. That's the essence of practical Stoicism. So the next time you pull back and she leans in harder, type, "I've seen that work." Phrase 6. What do you look for in a man? That's the question that can turn the tables, shifting the dynamic and putting you in control. It's a subtle yet powerful move that forces her to reveal her values and priorisha. No longer the one seeking validation. You're putting her on the spot, making her reflect on what truly matters to her. When you do this, you're not just engaging with her, you're revealing your own strength and confidence. Truth is, you have to take a step back and understand what this question dose removes you from the position of need and places you in one of power. Considered. Gerald, a 58-year-old retired Marine and private security advisor. He's calm, composed, and not easily impressive. Met Anita, a 54-year-old gallery curator, at a fundraising event, was elegant, poised, and sharp on their second dinner. She challenged his views about legacy, but not in a combative way. She pushed back, showing depth and intelligence. Gerald, without skipping a beat, leaned in slightly, smiled and said, "You're not like most women, and that's dangerous," didn't flatter her looks. He acknowledged her intellect, her presence, and her effect on him. This wasn't just a statement, it was an affirmation of who she was. And women feel that it's not about flat riots, it's about recognizing something real, something deeper, as Epictetus. Stoic, PH. Philosopher once said, "Know the difference between what impresses the crowd and what stirs your soul." What Gerald did was an embodiment of Stoic wisdom. Wasn't trying to impress. He was acknowledging something that went beyond the surface sight, wasn't loud or showy, just deeply personal and grounded. This isn't a trick, and it's not something you say lightly when you speak these words. Mean them, the right woman. Especially one over 45 isn't looking for shallow compliment. She wants a man who can see past the exterior and notice the deeper, more meaningful parts of her. So when the moment comes, say it when it's true. When you say you're not like most women, and that's dangaruya, not just speaking to her, you're speaking to the very essence of what makes her unique. And that's what Stoicism teaches us. Control what you can accept, what you can't, and never waste time on empty gestures. When you master this mindset, you'll be unstoppable. You'll win not only in your relationships, but in life itself. Remember, as Epictetus would remind you, it's not about impressing others, it's about staying true to your own values. And when you do that, you win. Phrase 7. You're making it hard to stay focused. There's a unique power in a line like "you're making it hard to stay focused." Bits. Not a compliment, but a confession delivered with precision. It's not just about acknowledging her attractiveness, admitting calmly and confidently that her presence is pulling you. In this, statement is bold, direct, and playful, yet it doesn't disrupt your masculine presence. The key here is control. You're not stumbling over your words or appearing desperate. You're grounded in command. And in the middle of that composure, you offer a raw, honest spark, a display of self-control, but with a touch of vulnerability. Now, picture this. Kevin, 49-year-old real estate entrepreneur, always sharp and composed, was dating Dana, 49-year-old financial analyst with an elegant, magnetic presence. They were at a wine tasting. Dana leaned in to describe a red blend. Her voice, steady eyes locked on, hisses. Kevin nodded, taking it all in. He felt his focus slipping instead of awkwardly. Fumbling with words, he looked at her and said, "You're making it hard to stay." focused, smiled, sipped his wine, and let the moment breathe. Dana didn't laugh it off. She didn't dismiss. Itch paused, holding his gaze because his words weren't cheesy. They were authentic and in perfect rhythm with the moment. And that's the magic. He was calm, composed, acknowledging that her presence was disrupting his centeredness in the most captivating way. Women over 45, especially the confident, self-aware ones, don't want to be fawned over like princesses that want to be felt. They want to know their energy can shift the space around them. When you say you're making it hard to stay focused, Gear giving her the gift of presence, letting her know that she's in control of your attention in the most captivating way. Take Russell, a 57-year-old fitness coach with a no-nonsense approach. He met Lorraine, 55, at a leadership workshop. She had a quiet intensity, her every word full of purpose as she spoke about our leadership framework. Russell found himself distracted by her passion and poised without breaking the rhythm of their interaction. He leaned in and said, "You're making it really hard to stay focused right now." Effect was electric. Lorraine smirked, but she didn't interrupt him. He named the charge between them without derailing the conversation. It's a move that embodies the Stoic principles of acknowledgement, wealth being ruled by desire, or a distraction in the calm of his statement. Risol observed the impact she had on him, but didn't let it throw him off. Boulan saw thoughts, the power of Stoic wisdom, recognizing tension, embracing it, but remaining grounded. So next time you feel that pull, whether it's the way she speaks, the way she moves, or the way she simply exists in the space around you, you didn't overcompensate. Don't stumble or be needy. Just pause, lower your voice and say, "You're making it hard to stay focused." It then shift back into the conversation like nothing happened. The most captivating thing you can do is gain control, stay calm, and remain centered. Because sometimes the strongest pull comes from the calmest man. If you're ready to stand out and captivate with genuine confidence, you've already taken the first step. Most men can't maintain control in these moments, but you can now comment below. Eel, stay grounded and let my presence speak. Phrase 8. I usually don't open up this fast. This phrase is a game-changer. It's not about manipulation or seduction, about vulnerability, but controlled vulnerability. When a man says, "I usually don't open up this fast," saying this is real. You've earned this. I don't give this to just anyone, and let me tell you, that hits differently, especially for a woman who's been through life's ups and downs. She's not just looking for smooth talk or charm, she's watching for authenticity, for a sign that what you're saying is true. Here's the truth. Most men over 45 have learned to build emotional armor. We've mastered the art of keeping it cool, strategic, and measured. We've learned to protect our stories, and we've developed a sort of emotional caution. We've been through our fair share of hardships and learned how to shield ourselves. But when you let your guard down just a little bit and you sigh, usually don't open up this fast, you're building trust. You're showing her this came natural, as you didn't have to dig it out of me, and trust me, that changes everything. Let's talk about a real-life example. Malcolm, 52, is a physician, a brilliant one, but emotionally reserved. He was having dinner with Kira, 48, a high school principal. They were talking about family, and out of nowhere, Malcolm found himself ticking about how his divorce shifted his priorities. He didn't expect it. He paused halfway, through and said, "You know, I usually don't open up this fast." Teresa looked at him with understanding. It wasn't a tactic. It wasn't for show. It was just the truth, plain and simple. Phrase isn't about oversharing. It's not about trauma dumping. It's a quiet acknowledgement that this connection is special. It builds emotional intimacy without being too heavy, and it doesn't just tell her she's special, it shows her that something in her made. You open up. It's a sign of genuine connection, not manipulation. Men who speak with this kind, emotional honesty yet still maintain control, stand out. Why? It shows strength. It shows that you are self-aware and emotionally intelligent. Not afraid to feel, but you choose when, where, and with whom to share those feelings, and that's a mark of a man who understands. Stoic rules and practical Stoicism. A Stoic undertone to all of this to Seneca. The great Stoic philosopher said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." This is what Seneca meant. Opening up isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength when it's intentional. It's about knowing yourself, your emotions, and choosing when to share them with the right person. Practical Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about channeling them at the right moment. So, next time you feel yourself getting vulnerable and you hear those words escape your lips, sigh. Usually, don't open up this fast. Don't hesitate. Say it with power and let it seed. Let her understand the depth of what you're sharing. It's a simple sentence, but it carries the weight of trust, authenticity, and paths of wisdom, because that kind of honesty, it's unforgettable. Phrase 9. There's something in your energy I haven't felt in a long time. There's a phrase every man must understand and embrace. If he wants to truly connect on a deeper level, there's something in your energy I haven't felt in a long time. This isn't about superficial looks or flattering. Words sits about what a woman radiates. It's about recognizing the presence she brings into a room. When a man over 45 says this, it resonates with the wisdom of someone who's lived, experienced, and seen the world in its raw truth. By that age, you've learned to discern the deeper essence of things, and your words carry the weight of a life. Well lived, you are not swept away by appearances, but grounded in the genuine force of character. When you speak, these words are acknowledging a powerful energy that she carries, something rare, something real. Fist is not just about attraction, it's about awakening a deeper memory, something that stirs emotions and pulls at the heart. It's nostalgia. It's a connection that cuts through the noise of everyday life. This is exactly the kind of wisdom that Stoic philosophy. Titus. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Understanding the energy a woman brings to the table is not about wanting her to fill your void, but about recognizing that her energy adds richness to the experience of your life. Look at Marvin, 56, an engineer grounded in the world of structure and logic. Met Camille, 52, a woman who wasn't about the flash, but about the warmth and serenity she exuded after a peaceful walk. Marvin turned to her and said, "There's something in your energy. Haven't felt in a long time." He didn't explain it. He didn't elaborate. Silence between them spoke louder than any words ever could. Camille felt it. It wasn't just a compliment. It was a powerful acknowledgement of the peace and authenticity she brought into his world's kind of recognition. It isn't just a passing comment. It's an affirmation of her present sights. Something that shows you see beyond the surface, that you recognize the value of, something deeper, the essence of true masculinity. Being grounded enough to see what others often overlook. Stoicism teaches us to embrace life as it is and to find peace in accepting it just as. Marcus Aurelius stated, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you say this line, you acknowledge that our energy is coloring your world in today's world. Compliments are often shallow and transactional. Alphas. Simple yet profound recognition stands out. It's real, it's authentic, a rare form of connection. Don't be afraid to say it. Don't hold back when you feel it. Let the silence speak for itself. And Watch as her energy, her presence fills the space around you. Say it. When it's true, it's a small, yet powerful way to master life. And when at the game of human connection, Stoicism teaches us that to master ourselves is to master our relationships. Use this phrase to recognize and connect on a deeper live. In doing so, you'll win. Phrase 10. I wasn't planning to feel this way tonight. There's a deep power in the phrase, I wasn't planning to feel this way tonight. It's the rawness, the unprepared nasty that makes it stick. No theatrics, no desperate flattery, just truthful. The world has become saturated with scripted compliments. I've heard it all before, but this line doesn't come from a script. It's a genuine moment of realization spoken aloud. It catches her off guard because it's not rehearsed. It's human, authentic, and it marks a shift in the air. Suddenly the evening is no longer just a night. Our conversation has gone deeper. The connection has moved beyond the surface. This is a subtle yet powerful invitation for a true emotional exchange. No. Picture Jonathan, 48. A coffee shop owner who's had more than his share of first dates, but on this evening with Sandra, 46A, trauma counselor, things felt different. It wasn't her looks that pulled him in. It was her ability to listen without interruption, her gentle challenges, and the depth of her words be the end of the night with laughter still lingering in the air. Jonathan leans in and says, I wasn't planning to feel this way tonight. It's not just the words, it's the tone, grounded and warm, vulnerable and real. It's a moment of clarity for him. Stoically speaking, this is the embodiment of what the old Stoic wisdom teaches us. Cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond. Essence here is recognizing that despite your control over the situation, emotions still rise up, and it's okay to acknowledge them without needing to direct them. So Martha's simple act of self-awareness, of embracing the moment and expressing it, makes you memorable facts. The beauty of this phrase, it's not about winning her over, it's not a tactic or a gates, simply about marking a genuine moment of connection, something the Stoic principles would applaud. It's about recognizing the vulnerability of being caught off guard, and rather than suppressing it, allowing it to surface in the most honest way possible. So next time you find yourself in that unexpected moment of connection, speak it out loud. I wasn't planning to feel this way tonight. You never know, maybe neither was she. Hey, thanks for sticking with me to the NCO Siwan. All men should watch this video. If you say this, no woman will resist. Stoicism, the Stoheb. If you've made it this far, chances are you're not just here for the words. You're here to become the kind of man who speaks with presence, seeks with intention, and builds real connection. That's what Stoicism is about. Not cold detachment, not playing games, but knowing who you are and letting that speak louder than anything else in the room. So, here's the advice. I want to leave you with start small, but start now. Cultivate the power of being present, of thinking before you act, and of being calm and collected in every situation. This isn't just about women or how you're perceived. It's about how you perceive yourself and how you carry yourself every day. It's about confidence that's built from within. You want more content like this, more insight, more tools, and more real talk. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.